Please state your name and age for the record.
Jack Harkness. I'm 17.
I wanted to ask you some questions about that night.
I don't really want to talk about it.
We just want to understand. You don't have to be afraid.
Yes, I do. Don't pretend to know what I'm going through. You weren't there. You don't understand.
You're right, Jack. I don't understand. I want you to help me with that. Help me understand so that I can help you.
You can't help me. No one can. He's everywhere. There's no escape.
Jack, focus. Focus on me, Jack. There you go. Everything will be fine. Now tell me, why are you in the mountains?
We were celebrating Josh and Carlos' graduation. We were just gonna head up to Carlos' cabin. It wasn't that big of a deal. On the way up, we passed this cabin, this rundown house. I didn't really think anything of it. It's just another beat down shack. I just wanted to get to the cabin. I wanted to try and get Madison alone. She was hot. We'd been flirting for a long time, so I was hoping to sneak out for a snog. Anyway, I had told Josh what was going on, and when he came with this idea to get me and Madison alone, he asked Selena and Carlos to go check out that shack or whatever it was, to go check it out with him. They're gonna go goof around, I guess. I don't know. Well, things were going great. We were talking by the fire, and she kept inching closer and closer, and I could feel the heat off her skin. And I was just about to do it. I was just about to kiss her. Then BAM! The door swung open, and Selena comes running in, and she was pale. Paler than I'd ever seen anyone. She looked like she'd just seen a ghost. She starts telling us this story I could barely understand her. She said that someone or something had taken Josh and Carlos and that they were gone and she couldn't hear them. They weren't answering her. And she came back here. She was scared. And then she didn't know what to do. And she told me to call the cops. And I didn't believe her at first, but then I tried calling Jack, and my phone was dead. So I went to the phone, and I decided to go ahead and I was going to call the cops, but there was no dial tone. It was just static. And then all of a sudden I hear Selena and Madison scream, and I turn around and I see something dodge out of the window. I barely even glimpsed it. It was some big, tall dude. It's just so tall. It was like, and then Madison is freaking out, and Selena runs. She runs to the back room, and I don't know what she's doing. I start to go after her, but then I hear Madison again. She like drops her hat, and I turn, and in the doorway there's this tall man with no face, and he's long and skinny, and he wasn't natural. There was nothing natural about him, and the next thing I remember, we were blacked out on the floor. It was just me and Madison. Selena was nowhere to be found. It was dark, and we're looking around, and Madison and I we woke up around the same time, but I heard her. She was calling my name, and she's like, let's go. And so I pull my keys out, but I can't find them. They're in my jacket. I couldn't find my jacket, so I got my keys, and we got in the car. And as we were driving away, I saw him. He was just standing there, watching us.
What happened when you got back?
When we got back, I couldn't sleep. I just hoped that night was over. I hoped it was just my imagination, the beer, or whatever. I don't know. I tried to pretend it never happened, but we went to school, and we never saw Josh or Carlos again. And Madison and Selena and I, we never really talked to anyone. We never said anything about that night. It was too hard, and Madison and I, we can hardly even talk to each other now, and we just sit alone at the lunch, and we don't do much of anything anymore because he's still here. We can still feel him.
You can feel him.
I can feel him right now. That eyeless gaze is like so burning in the mind. You catch him at the corner of your eye in a dark corner. When you look, he's gone. But I'm not sleeping, and I hear him. And sometimes at night, when I'm alone, I hear someone calling my name. But it's a hollow voice. It's not natural. It's like Satan. And I don't know whether we're being punished or something, but I can just hear him all the time. He's there. There's nothing I can do. He's here right now. Right there!
Can you state your name and age?
I'm Selena Underwood, and I'm 16 years old.
Can you tell us what happened that night?
Well, it was a graduation party for Josh, my boyfriend. It was Josh, Carlos, Jack Harkness, Addison, and myself. Well, Josh and Carlos and myself went to an old abandoned house off the road from the cabin. Then we went inside and started to mess around. I started to get the feeling that I was being watched. We were being watched. I walked up to a window and looked out, and I saw a tall man with a suit on. His arms were long and bent in awkward angles, and the same with his legs. His head was white, and there were no eyes, no nose, no mouth. I begged Josh for us to go, and he finally said, yeah, okay. When we were heading out of the house, when we came around the corner from the downstairs frame, I got a better look at it, considering it from the corner at us. It had a demented smile on its face. We took off running. Josh and I jumped out of the window, and Carlos was still in the house. And only a few moments later, we could hear him screaming. Josh ran back inside, and things got silent. I waited a few minutes. Nothing responded. I called their names. Nothing. Then it peered out the window at me, with no eyes. I knew it saw me. I ran back to the cabin where Madison and Jack were at. It was dark when I got inside. They were sitting by the fire, telling stories and secrets, like we planned to do together that night. I told them what had happened. When Jack went to call the cops, he picked up the phone. There was nothing. No dial tone. No please hang up and try again. All there was static. Jack pressed a few numbers and nothing happened. I turned from where the phone was. I was clenching my hair in my fist, and through the window, I saw a tall, skeleton-like figure peeking in at all of us. I screamed. I ran into one of the back rooms looking for my night gear. The lights went out, and the sound of menacing footsteps walked across the hard floor in the house, as if there was a giant inside. I covered my mouth and backed into a corner, trying not to scream. Tears fell from my face. I didn't want. Why was it here? Why was it after me? Us! What happened to Josh and Carlos? The questions ran through my mind. I went to climb out a window in the room. When I pulled back the drapes, it was there, looking at me. I ran through the room, out the door, grabbed my car keys, and drove off.
Did you stop there?
No.
What happened after that?
When I got back to town, I told my parents what had happened. They thought I was crazy and told me to go to bed, and they were going to call the cops. I don't think they ever did.
Why do you say that?
Because Josh and Carlos were still missing.
Did anything else happen?
Well, after a few days, Jack and Madison were at school for the last few days of school before summer. We've spent most of the days together since then. We didn't really talk about anything that happened that night. But when Madison and I started getting the feeling that we were being followed or watched, we started talking more. We noticed in pictures that it would turn up in the distance, hiding behind a wall, a tree. As time passed, each picture we took, it got closer and closer, until it would take up the majority of the frame. That's when I stopped taking pictures.
Do you still have the photos?
No, they disappeared a few nights ago, along with Madison.
Well, that's too bad.
You think I'm kidding? This isn't a joke. It's following me. I can feel it in my every waking moment. Even right here. Right now. Oh God. Just stop it. Stop it.
Selena, calm down. What are you...